Hi, my name is Ruth Duran. I'm a master trained coach. I'm a certified life coach and I'm an MBA. And I help businesswomen create the life that they want without working any harder or longer than they need to. I help immigrant businesswomen and businesswomen in general create the results to create the life, create the experience that they want without working any harder or longer than they need to, without needing to overwork. In today's course, today's mastermind is about clearing the capacity you already have to create easy growth and easy results. And so this masterclass is going to cover the first pillar of my three pillars of my coaching program. The first pillar is capacity clearing. It's where you identify and release the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical blocks to create the space for clarity and growth that you want. The two pillars that I will not be talking about in this program, but are part of my program, is creating ease to aligned action. This is to shift from chaotic busyness to intentional, value driven steps that feel natural and empowering to you. And so, this is where we really will create everybody's success, everybody's growth, everybody's steps to creating the life and the business that they want is very unique to them. And in the second pillar, I help them be able to do that. The third step is maximizing the business income and the results without sacrificing your life. This is where we redefine success in a way that you are able to achieve your goals while honoring your energy, your health, your joy, your authenticity by honoring the way that you want to create your life. And so what happens is sometimes we go about and work so hard to create what we want, but then we look up after we've achieved our goals, after we've achieved the life we want, we realize we achieved the goal, but it's at the expense of the other parts of my life. And so the three pillars of my coaching program, we identify these three parts so that we're able to create an amazing life, an amazing business that coexist together. So today we're going to step on the first pillar of it. We're going to talk about the clearing, where we can clear the capacity to transform your work, your results, and your life intentionally. I picked capacity clearing as the first pillar because it is understanding so much more about you. So, for example, capacity is your ability to manage your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual energy effectively. And then the next one is the clutter. The clutter is those distractions that we have that create emotions for unnecessary thoughts that drain our capacity. So there are things that we're doing, there's physical, emotional, spiritual things that we're doing that create the clutter that are holding us back. So the two parts of understanding our capacity clearing is understanding what is between us and the capacity that we want and what is bogging us down unconsciously. So for example, I a client of mine, I'm going to call them Maya because that's my avatar. And so, for example, Maya, she really wanted to create a lot more in her life and in her business. She really wanted to create a lot more wealth, a lot more income, a lot more success in her business. But what was happening is the way that she was approaching it, the way that she was doing the things like adding more things onto her plate or adding more things, more business aspects or more marketing or even a whole new list of clients, it was really causing a lot of stress and a lot of emotional overwhelm in her body. And so what we were able to do is really clean up some of the things that were holding her back. So before we added anything into her life, we decided to really help her clean up some of the mental things that were holding her back, some of the emotions and what she was doing with her emotions, some of the ways that she was actually focusing on her tasks. And so, and also some of the things that were she was doing that was unconsciously creating stress. And so when we're able to clean that up, literally declutter her thoughts, her feelings, her actions, declutter her pattern, she was then able with less stress to do more on purpose, high impact tasks that were able to create a help her achieve more. She was able to really even just prioritize what was important to her and her business, and she was able to achieve more. So I want you to sit back and just think about what are one or two high task things that you are avoiding that you can work on today? Or what are one or two things that you are doing that are distracting you? So, for example, do you multitask? Because multitask scatters our energy. And so, could you spend an hour a day where you're really focused on high impact tasks every day? And so that will help you streamline your mental and emotion and physical energy. Or, for example, could you really realize when you're working on your business or working on things and realize maybe there's some things that I'm avoiding because of the story that I have about those things. So for example, a client might be come to me and they might be thinking about they want to create this marketing funnel, but they're realizing that they're avoiding it because they're concerned about what other people would think. For example, they have that opinionated family member, and so they're concerned about what that opinionated family member will do. And so when we create really this relationship where they feel safe in their body. No matter what the family member says, no matter what the family member's opinion is, they will be okay because they will have their own back. And so they can focus on that marketing, the marketing thing that they're working on. And they can really focus and spend just only 30 minutes to an hour a day on that marketing thing, which will create more of that result that they want. The second thing I want to really talk about is understanding your nervous system and the connection to your capacity. See, unfortunately, what we're told so many times is we need to do more things. You need to expand your capacity to do more. You need to create more and you need to show up doing more. But what they really don't understand sometimes is the reason that we might not be doing what we want to do is because our nervous system is activated. We're in fight, we're in flight, we're in freeze, or we're fawning. And we're not even understanding why we are in these states. And so working with me and working on my program, part of the capacity clearing is being able to understand why are you in these energies? Why is your nervous system activated? Could it be a thought? Could it be a pattern? Could it be a story from the past? Like, for example, one of my clients, I'm going to call her Maya, was really activated their nervous system. And I'm going to use the example of family members' opinions. Family member were very, very opinionated about what was doing. But when we were really able to see that in her was creating this flight and creating her avoiding showing up in her business and marketing again. And so when we were able to understand that the family members' opinions with their opinions about themselves and not about my client. Their family members' opinions were coming from insecurity about the family member being able to do what they wanted to do in their life. And they were just projecting it on the client. The client was able to see that if it has nothing to do with me and I'm not going to use it against me, which is very powerful, they were able to then calm their nervous system, which helped them be able to choose how they're going to respond. And when we choose how we're going to respond, this impacts our decision making, this impacts our actions, this impacts how courageous and confident we are, this impacts how intentional we are, and it really impacts what we do and how we do it, thus impacting our energy. And so when we're activated and we force ourselves to do the same things. So for example, in this Maya, if she went out and she forced herself to post without really working on those root cause emotions, she would still be activated and maybe even over activating her nervous system. And when this family member made the same comments, because the family member didn't get to change, then she would still be in even more heightened nervous system activation. But once we cleaned out that capacity, she was able to create whatever she wanted and then also have a response for a family member by going, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm choosing not to listen to you. I understand where you're coming from, but that's a no. I love you so much, but that's a no. I'm choosing to do this for me. When we ignore our nervous system, it leads to cycles of stress, cycles of overworking, cycles of just emotional, physical, mental, spiritual drain and exhaustion. And so one technique that I have been using a lot lately that I realized was so helpful, it's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. And what I like to do is I like to get to a place where I'm sitting down, feet on the ground, my back supported, and inhaling for 4 counts, holding my breath for 7 counts, and exhaling for 8 counts. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. So it's inhale for 4. And I've been doing this. My mother-in-law had hip surgery and didn't go the way we expected, so we required a lot more work and energy and attention because she wanted to stay home, and so it required a lot more for me. And so I started doing this breathing technique and making sure that my nervous system was as calm as possible and I was as grounded as possible before I went in to help her, before I responded to anything. And it really, really calmed my nervous system. And so it helped me just be able to make those decisions. And the decision was still the same. I was going to be there for her. I was going to help her. I was going to support her, but my nervous system was calm. I was more grounded and secure. And so then I was able to just choose on purpose how much help I was going to do. And when I was taken care of, I helped so much more. The second part that we want to do is we want to be mindful and we want to be very thoughtful. So this is where thought work is very helpful. Thought work is where we write down all our thoughts and our feelings, and then we're curious about our thoughts and the stories. We're curious why those thoughts and stories are creating feelings. So, for example, with Maya, I'm going to go back to the Maya example. When we realized that Maya wasn't showing up in her marketing because of what her family member was thinking, she was able to then understand that this was not about her. It was about her family member. And she unconsciously was picking up her family member's inadequacy and feeling of insecurity and inadequacy. And so what Maya was able to do is she was able to see it has nothing to do with me. I am confident in what I'm saying. I am confident in what I'm helping people. I am confident with what I am doing. And so when she was able to just understand what her thoughts and feelings were and realize they were not about her, it was able to create more peace and calm with her. Mindfulness is also where when she was focused on working on her 30 minutes to an hour of consistent working on something, she cut off all distractions, no notifications, no open browsers, nothing, where she was just open and focused on working on what she was working on and thinking about the impact of what she was working on, not only on her, on everybody else that she was supporting. So this is where she was able to identify the helpful thoughts for her and for the people that she was helping and on her goal altogether. She eliminated all the unhelpful thoughts and was able to just focus on the helpful thoughts that served her. The other thing that we were able to do with her is really help her understand what is her current relationship with emotions. See, if we're not understanding our current relationship with emotions and we force ourselves to do something, it creates so much more strength. So for her, she used to think that emotions were scary, something she needed to avoid, something she needed to not work with, something she needed, like when she had an emotion, it meant something has gone wrong. So activating her fight signal and her flight signal, because so for example, a family member had an opinion. A family member said something. She thought that I have done something wrong. There's something wrong with me. I am flawed. And then she would feel very flawed and like she's a failure. And then when she'd feel these emotions, she would think that something has gone wrong, that I am wrong for feeling this emotion, which then created even more emotions. And with working with me, we started identifying that emotions are just signals. Emotions are our brain and our body telling us that we're feeling something. We're thinking something, and thus we're feeling something. And so we started being curious, and I gave her an assignment. Always ask yourself, what is this emotion teaching me? Or what is this emotion revealing to me? Which is comes back to the thought work and the mindfulness. It is always a thought. It is always something that we have thought about it. It is always just a story that we have or a pattern that we have. And so we want to create more of the result that we want to really regulate our nervous system, which creates clarity and creates focus. Our nervous system is such a powerful tool when we work with it, when we understand it. The next thing that we do in capacity clearing is we clear mental and emotional clutter. This is where we let go of things that are holding us back. So, for example, common blocks that I see with my clients are perfectionism, self doubt, fear of emotions, fear of failure, fear of just circumstances in the world. And what this does is unfortunately leads us to overthinking, overanalyzing, avoiding, overworking to try to, for example, if you're afraid of an emotion, we will overwork to try to avoid that emotion, overanalyzing. So, for example, with my client Maya, family member had an opinion, she would spend a lot of her time over analyzing what is wrong with me that family member had that opinion. Procrastination, which all leads to stress, burnout, mental, physical, emotional, and I'm going to say spiritual exhaustion. And so when we really understand what could be holding us back, we can intentionally create something different. So I'm going to go back to Maya. So Maya may have decided to create a business program. And she delayed creating that business program because she was really being perfect, trying to do everything perfectly to avoid other people having an opinion. But what happened is that it really slowed her down, and all that perfectionism, spending a lot of time just perfecting something or perfecting even one module, just perfecting it so many times, all the time, weeks, months she spent perfecting it. But she kept pushing her deadline further and further out. But then when we were able to clear the emotional and mental clutter, she was able to see that not 100% of people are not going to like what I do. 100% of people are not going to think it's the best thing in the world since sliced bread. 100% of people are not going to have a positive opinion. But the people who will, the people who really matter, the people that are going to be impacted by that, they need they need it done. B work, B plus work is better than A plus work that's not done. B plus work that's completed and put out into the world is better than A plus work that stays hidden somewhere. So she can help more people by just really dropping the perfectionism and willing to hear some people's opinions. So I want you to really spend some time and just identify what is one block that you currently have. What is one pattern that you currently have? And then what is one thought and feeling and action you can do today to overcome that? How do we create this safety to just show up in the world in a way that is supportive of you and the future that you want to create? So releasing mental and emotional clutter creates so much space for growth and evolution. The next thing that we want to do is we want to look at creating this foundation for the growth that we want. So, so many, and I keep repeating this so many times. We're told so many times that to do more, you need to learn more, you need to create more, you need to, there's just this addition of more. And when we add more to a already full plate, it overflows and we actually increase the chance of not succeeding. But capacity clearing is where we clear up what's already. So I love to think about this analogy of we have a big old container that holds 100 quarts of water. And so it's full. And so what we're told by the personal development world or business world is we add more to that plate, but it's already full, that 100 capacity. And so what capacity clearing does is we clean that up so that we eliminate things that are not working. And so what happens is when we clean that up, we have more space to add things. So for example, if I was working at 100 quarts, I had 100 quarts of energy, and at the end of the day, I was spent. I've spent the 100 quarts of energy. When we do an audit to understand how we're spending that 100 quarts of energy, we can clean some of that up. And so we might identify, yeah, I only healthily can use up 60 quarts of energy. So I have the rest 40 quarts of energy that when I add, it's more intentional. It's not exhausting. It's not having me live to my capacity, but it really creates what I want. So I might decide to add 20 more, which will get me so much further than the burnout of adding to already full cup. So clearing capacity creates focus, it creates creativity, it creates a sustainable progress. When we don't clear our capacity, it creates emotional, physical, mental exhaustion, overwhelm, missed opportunities. So many people will tell me, I cannot, I'm maxed. I am a mother, I'm a caretaker, I have a business, I have all this going on. I can't take any more. But when we clear the capacity, you have the opportunities to take on more if you want. So what I want you to do is perform an audit and see where you're currently spending your time or your energy or your effort. And the reason I wanted to do either one is because you can do a time audit and see how you're spending your time. And that can help you clear up some of the things that probably not need to be done. For example, if you're being perfectionism and just perfecting something over and over, when you do a time audit, you'll be able to see that. Or if you just do an energy audit, you'll be able to see. So, for example, where your brain keeps ruminating on, for example, Maya, with just keeps playing over in her brain the stories about other people's opinions about her, the stories of how she caused other people to have opinions. And so clearing that can help her really create more energy. So list 3 tasks, 3 emotions, or 3 commitments that you can clear just this week. And this can be done, for example, by delegating, by eliminating something, like you realize this is not the most important thing I should be working on, so you can eliminate it, or you can even consolidate tasks. I've seen a lot of clients who have realized that they're doing something over here that's not creating what they want, but they're also doing it over here. But if they consolidate it, they go really well together and they can spend an hour working on both of them. So we also want to clear up any sabotaging thoughts, any sabotaging stories, any stories that are not serving you. Like for example, Maya, where the other people's opinions and that she did something wrong to cause other people to have their opinions was a story that's not serving her, or a pattern of putting other people's opinions higher than her own opinion and wisdom and knowledge about herself and who she can help. So we want to be able to clear those up. So growth is easier when you have space to focus on what really, really matters. And the final step that we're going to talk about capacity clearing is really turning obstacles into strategies and goals. And so obstacles, a lot of people, especially let's go back to uh, the piece of where a person is living at their full potential, spending 100 quarts of energy. They wake up in the morning and they go to bed and they've spent the 100 quarts of energy. And so they adding more to your plate is a clear obstacle. So when we've cleared that and we understand that how you're using your time, energy, and effort by doing an audit, we can then maybe go to, okay, she has 60 quarts of energy. But let's go Maya again, example. But Maya might go, well, I'm no longer concerned about what this family member will say about my marketing. I'm now concerned, I'm not good at copywriting, or I really don't know how to actually communicate effectively. That's a clean obstacle. And so when we identify what obstacles we need, we're encountering that are needed to be worked on to clearly grow us, we can then decide how we can intentionally work on that obstacle. So it's like we first want to identify the obstacle. We want to be very clear of what is the true obstacle. So, for example, we might be thinking, okay, I want to grow a business, and my true obstacle is I don't have time to do that new item. And let's just use marketing as an example. I really don't have time to do marketing. And so then we want to, step two is really do the audit and see, is that true? Or what are we spending time doing that we can eliminate or consolidate or delegate so we can do the marketing? So then we want to reframe this obstacle into a really intentional strategy. So for example, um, maybe I thought I needed to do 50 things. But in reality, I really need to do just really high priority marketing tasks. I don't have to do it all perfectly like everybody else I see, but I need to do just a few things that are the most important. And so then we want to incorporate just the minimum baseline of doing what really matters. The minimum baseline is identify just what is the minimum we can do consistently to grow what we want. So, for example, if the minimum that we need to do is minimum communicate with 3 people, or minimum put out an ad, or minimum just tweak and adjust what we're already doing, we want to be able to just do the minimum that is going to really move us further. And so the next thing is then we want to really turn that into a goal. So for example, spending 30 minutes daily on marketing and just doing that, or doing even something small but consistently that will make progress and just help us move further along and do what we need to do. It's not about doing it all, because this is another thing that really hinders in the capacity is we think we have to do it all. And so I want to go back to the example of the client who's fully spent and then they're thinking, I have to do it all. So they would be avoiding doing any of it. But sometimes if we identify and eliminate what doesn't need to be done and just identify these are the 2 things that need to be done consistently, it will move us so much further. And this is back to where, remember, B minus work that is done is always better than A plus work that is never done. So I want you to look at one of your goals and write down just one obstacles that you are encountering. One obstacle that is between you and the goal. And then turn that obstacle into an actual goal. Turn it into an actual intentional goal that you can work on. An actual do goal. So, for example, if it's the time for marketing, and we eliminate that you have to do it all, but then we identify, well, I need to have conversations with 3 people every single day, and it's going to take less than 30 minutes every single day. We now have turned that into a do goal. Every single day, the minimum baseline is talk to 3 people. So your obstacles can be guides towards your growth if you learn and reframe them. So I want to really spend some time in just you being curious. What are some of the obstacles that or concerns that you have? And some of the concerns I hear on a regular basis is I don't have time. The best thing about that is capacity clearing. And clearing your capacity gives you time by reducing unnecessary tasks, unnecessary actions, unnecessary thoughts, feelings, unnecessary overworking, unnecessary even just things that are between you and creating what you want. Another thing I hear, concern I hear is I've already invested in coaching or I have a business coach. The best part about it is capacity clearing makes all the strategies and business coaching and knowledge you already have or that you will get work even more efficiently as there are no more blocks holding you back. So take, for example, the analogy of your emotion, your a nervous system. When your nervous system is activated, you can add a lot more knowledge to that, and the knowledge is not going to stick. Once we clear your capacity and calm your nervous system, all that knowledge, all the strategies, all those key points will resonate so much more with you. And you will be able to take so much more action. My clients, after they work with me, they just are able to do the things they've always wanted to do because they have cleared that capacity. I hear a lot of people say, but I've tried everything and it hasn't worked. Well, this I've tried anything, everything is thinking that there are things that we have to do in strategy ways. But then capacity clearing isn't about just adding more. It's about simplifying, realizing, realigning, creating safety and ease in your body so that you can do the things that you want. And so, for example, I'm going to go back to the example of somebody who's living at 100% capacity because they are really spent at the end of the day. When we simplify, eliminate, realign things, they might realize that at the end of the day, they really only 60 quarts that are used up, and they get to choose on purpose what are they going to use the 40 quarts on. Another thought I hear a lot is another concern is I'm afraid of what I'll uncover. And I'm going to say, I completely understand. But what will happen is we'll take this step by step, focus on small, manageable changes and small, manageable healing and small, manageable um, awareness. I create so much safety in my coaching program that will help my clients really be able to feel safe to reveal what is underneath. And it's a safe, compassionate, considerate, and loving container where whatever comes up, non judgmental, I'm never going to criticize. I hold loving space for you because I understand that everybody is unconditionally loving and amazing. And no matter what we uncover, it's just coming up for us to clean up. You're human, you're imperfect, and I understand that. The next concern I hear is I can't afford to invest right now. Capacity clearing saves you time, money, energy, and saves you so much. And so it helps you, it saves by reducing wasted effort, and really helping you maximize your strengths, maximizing your results, maximizing your time, your energy, your effort. It helps you really maximize what you want to create in your life. And so, do you have any questions before I move on? Okay. So I want to just share with you my offer, which is my elite coaching program. This is where we work with me one on one. Thank you. This is where we work with me one on one. The session's an hour long. The investment is $5,000 for 25 sessions. And we work weekly where we reserve a time just for you, and it's flexible time, but it's just for you, where we consistently meet every single week, and we start off by really clearing the capacity. And then we'll go to the next two pillars of my coaching program. And in my program, you get extra ongoing support where you get email access for extra guidance, where you can email me if you need anything, where you can check in if you need anything, where you get access to all my trainings, all my resource library. I'm working on a course, and in my late program, you get access to that course. You also get progress check-ins to keep the momentum up if you need it. And so if you're ready to dive deeper into this program, I'm here to support you. Let's create a path for you to be able to create the growth that you want in a sustainable and easy way. So, thank you so much for joining me. I really, truly appreciate it. And if you have any questions, feel free. I'm available. Just send me a message. This recording is going to be available, so I'll be sending it to you. And so, capacity clearing is something I really feel so passionate about. It's really is not just about doing less, it's about creating more of the space for the life and the experience that truly matters. It's about creating that amazing, beautiful foundation for the life that you know you really want. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions, and I'm here to support you. So if you want additional information, feel free to go to my website, ruthduran.com, for more resources and more information about how I can support you. So thank you so much.